Even if you don't see it in the night sky. Even if you are trapped in the gutter, where nobody can see you. If you want to shine. If you still light one light inside yourself. Then that thing must be one star. Facing one blacksmith. Analyzing one beautiful sword. There was one blonde boy. He said it still looks so cool. No matter how long you look at it. And Gamina said she knew he would be distracted by it. Again Vlad. And he told to stop bothering. He rarely decides to rest. Gamina said they're talking about him. Because he's so relaxed like that. Lately, they keep saying he hears voices when he holds something. Like one stick is true. He keeps doing that. And asked what kind of disgrace he did in his past life. To have one lightning strike him. A clear sky. On top of that a black lightning. And Jimena said that the new bishop, he is very sensitive about this kind of thing, was promoted from heresy questioner. So any little thing, he is thrown into the fire. And he replied not to talk about this type of terrible thing. Damina said it's him who has problems. And she who worries about him. Who would have thought? It wasn't just one or two people who saw him get struck by lightning. Everyone is talking about it. And he may be targeted by the church. But he said he won't be dragged to church just because of a sword, right? Demina said it's only to buy through credit. Then, but Vlad said it's very expensive. She said it shouldn't be that much. Do you want to buy it for him? Vlad said it costs 5 gold coins. And Demina said that's crazy. He replied that it is. He knows. 5 gold coins. You could eat and party for a whole year. Gamina said she doesn't believe that a piece of iron is worth that. But the blacksmith got very pissed. When she said piece of iron, he said, with something that people like them from Backstreet would never understand. Gamina asked then who is going to buy that. It's hanging on the street. Old man. He's charging the guy on a sword that knights use as toothpick. And the blacksmith told her to get out of here. You cheeky little brat. Go wash the dishes or board your half-ass. And Milena said she is a very well-grown woman, okay? And Vlad told her to please stop fighting for no reason. But they kept arguing while she walked away. And Ferrero said she doesn't know how much helped in that childhood time, right? What a shit. But when he turned around and saw the footprints of Vlad, he realized that he was standing there again for a long time and said it will be difficult for him to find ambition in a place like this. He will sell this here to someone who has the ability to get out of Backstreet. You can't let your work rot. He needs to find someone who, even in a gutter like these, can shine on its own. And it is explained about Shara, the logistics center of the northern high nobility. But of course about such brilliance. There is always a hidden light. A slum area, where all kinds of dirty and ugly things are placed. Backstreet, and inside a tavern. In this wonderful place, there was a mercenary carrying a woman by her hair, dragging her through the corridors, saying he's a fraud. He has lived as a mercenary for 20 years now, and is selling drugs that don't even work for him. Until Vlad appeared, saying there is never a quiet day around here, is there? And the bald man said he arrived at the right time, and ordered to bring the madam of this place. But Vlad said that to find the madam, you need gold coins, or silver like the ones he brings. The mercenary said their service here sucks. That's absurd. And this candle that he sells with the timer is also a fraud. But Vlad said that not the candle's fault. He gets preoccupied with the little jokes he makes. And since this client is becoming unbearable, Vlad asked why not. Bet. You see that clock over there? If the candle lasts more than 5 minutes, he wins the bet. If it doesn't last 5 minutes, he can do whatever he wants with the woman he's holding. But if he wins the bet, Vlad will beat him to death. And the bald guy, staring into his blue eyes, felt the pressure. Then Vlad started, struck the match and lit the candle. They waited for 5 minutes. Everyone in the tavern was watching this scene. When the candle went out, the mercenary realized that it had already passed, well, more than 5 minutes. And when he turned around, the first thing he saw was a piece of wood, right in the middle of his face. Then Vlad kicked him into a more private room, closed the door, and said he dies today. Vlad simply started beating the guy with a piece of wood, asking if he's been a mercenary for 20 years. Why is he so fat, huh? And the next morning, at breakfast time, Vlad was explaining that for sure. Someone messed with the candle. It wasn't 5 minutes. He told George that someone messed with their business. And the madam asked who dared to mess with the Sacred Roses candle. Huh? Now they have a reason to hunt for it until the end. But Vlad asked how he's going to find the cause. Woman. She said that actually he already found it. Actually, it was herself. It was herself who messed with it a bit. She wanted to fool those drunks. Idiots, and earn some money with it. And that's Madame Marcella from the Backstreet Tavern. Then Vlad went down the stairs later and said that so he beat up an innocent person. For no reason. Well, there's nothing to do, right? He's an employee and does what the madam tells him to. And in the middle of his way, he was intercepted by a group. And the leader said he did a big deal yesterday, right? Doing well in his place. It happened just when he wasn't there to see. Too bad. And asked if he made some money when. I sold some candles yesterday. Isn't it? And Vlad asked what he's planning. Barley told him not to look at him like that. Calm down. He's not asking just to give it to him. He's asking to do business. And later he showed the kid, all beaten up, saying that this is familiar. Isn't it? It's a pickpocket. Can give Vlad for 40 silvers. It's very cheap for that, you know. Vlad asked how are the fingers and ankles. Barley said they are intact. It's as fresh as on the cutting board. Just hit it a little to soften it, you know. And Vlad gave in at this moment. He threw his bag of coins and said that next time he should kill them instead of calling him. Oh, Burley asked what's wrong with that. They did a great deal. They are members of an organization. They are not Vlad assassins either. Said he talks too much for someone who killed his own family. Going away. Burley said he knew Vlad would accept the deal. There is a reason why he managed all the brats on this street. And Vlad knew this kid. And Ned apologized to Vlad. He said he would book later. But Vlad asked, where was his body broken? Ned said nowhere, no. Then he told him to get out before he hits him. And he himself breaks. Go, brat. And Ned thanked him. And Vlad said that's how he's further away. Of 5 gold coins. And later in Porto. Telling this to a friend. He replied to Vlad that the brat was lucky. Right. Didn't stay like him cutting his fingers and ankles. And this is Captain Hoover from the Harbin family. A whale hunter. And he asked if Mrs. Marcella Rose is messing with the candles now. Is not it? Vlad asked if the story has spread here too. Hoover said the rumors have been around for a while, but no one had confirmed anything. Vlad said that even George already knew about this. Only they do not start a commotion for no reason. They're not like that. Hoover thinks so. There must have been a reason behind it all. 9 times out of 10, it's probably because they need money. And told Vlad to be careful, because there's only one case in which an organization quickly collects funds. That's a war against another organization. There are 5 bosses who rule the Choera slums, the Knights of the Prostitutes, George, the Pig Butcher, the Black Bear, the Casino Master, the Whale Hunter Troop, and finally the money-sucking Jack. And Vlad knows very well that the obscurities of life, of a person, tend to approach silently, while hidden, exactly like now. Who approached him was Jack himself. A misfortune, a disgrace without prior notice. And Vlad thought that right in front of him was the biggest con artist of all. Maybe it really is a preparation for a war. And one of the mercenaries asked if Vlado didn't hear what the boss said. Where's his boss? He replied that he doesn't know. He's just a candle seller. So the mercenary decided to break all his candles, banging against the box. The prostitutes were shocked. Everyone who was drinking was shocked. And Vlad said no more sales for today, right? So many expensive candles broken. And the mercenary said he doesn't understand, right? But Vlad told him to get out of the way. Get out of the way. And when the mercenary finally decided to attack him directly, Vlad reacted. He knows that a fight is a microcosm of a war, the intended battlefield, planned circumstances, and courageous determination. His next attack was with that piece of wood, breaking the mercenary's left leg. Then he hit him in the face, knocking out some little teeth. Even the staff couldn't believe it. And Jack even liked it. Vlad knew the laws of these alleys and favelas well. The winner always stayed on top, and the loser on the ground, at his feet. When Jack's other mercenaries tried to leave, he stopped them himself, saying that he even liked this kid. He said he only has one arm. Then, hope he's a little more understanding with him. Vlad said he punches everyone. Don't say he's disabled. Jack said he's really crazy, right? They can have a better conversation later. In private. Until George appeared, asking what brings the swindler here. And Jack said it's not like they're so close to each other. And George said that since there are guests, why don't they take them upstairs? Jack said he hopes there's good meat. And a good one. Come here. And George told him not to worry. Marcella doesn't usually disappoint when it comes to hospitality. So they left together from there, leaving the hall. And Vlad sighed, saying that was close this. And later, when Jack had finished his conversation with George, Jack said his boss didn't hold back on the praise. It seems he's great at judging people's character, and said that when he gets tired of this place full of prostitutes and burnt smell, he could work for him. Vlad said that it's actually very good to work here. They pay him, they feed him, and let him sleep. Jack said they can do that too, and took the opportunity to hand over a gold coin for the broken candles. Boy work for him. Boy can give as many as he wants. His name is not con artist for nothing. So he left with his mercenary troop. And Vlad thought this guy seems happy, right? Things must have worked out for him. And at that moment, Germano warned that George was calling for Vlad. And Vlad was impressed when he saw a short sword. George said he planned to give it to him later. Only the circumstances asked that he deliver it now, and told Vlad to keep it with him at all times. And just by the atmosphere of the room, Vlad realized that the conversation with Jack was practically a catastrophe. And George, he also said that his task is no longer to sell candles. Vlad asked what he does now. Collect money. Patrol. George said that they received evidence that Jack is hiring ex-knights, just like him, a knight who came to the slums. Jack currently, he had given an overwhelming number of men. But even for him, the ex-knight George was a difficult obstacle to overcome. However, bringing knights, swordsmen of the same level as George, the balance simply collapsed. George said they are at a disadvantage. That's why they need Vlad. Soon he will receive his first mission. And again Vlad remembered Harvin, or his friend who works for Ruva. He is a fingerless disabled person, even without the ability to walk currently. The ingenious mind he has. Learned languages on his own. Mathematics. And now he's using that to work for the captain. Hoover seeing this, Vlad realized that learning comes through effort, and that knowledge always takes you to better places. And at this moment, while he was training with his piece of wood, as if it were a sword, a voice said it might be better. He narrowed the angle of the elbow while swings down. Okay, a new movement. And Vlad said that nonsense every time he swings the sword. And while a month ago, after being struck by a black lightning, Vlad started hearing a voice in his head. Demonic whispers that start whenever he holds a sword, or something similar. And Vlad said it would be better to buy holy water before buying a sword. He will ignore this voice. The more you respond to it, the more it seems to get stuck. So he came into focus. He just needed to do his best, concentrating all his strength and only attacking. But the moment he attacked again, that voice, link me, and his attack was much better. Vlad realized that this time the voice was different. It was more like a guide on the path of the sword. And he wondered, what the hell is inside his head? And much later that night, near the icy mountains, a knight was wiping the blood from his blade, saying that age seems to have arrived. When someone approached, he asked if he's an idiot, or was it all on purpose, and told him to stop hiding. He's already at the meeting point. And someone asked if he is SCU Estana. The man replied yes. Then he must be the one they call Vlad, the slum guide, but has blonde hair and blue eyes. You might end up confusing him with the nobleman. Then Vlad delivered a letter from George and informed Estana that the enemy organization got a mercenary who used to be a knight. So he needs your help. Vlad was there to guide Estana. They should arrive in 2 days. And Estana said he should only follow someone who is not an idiot. Vlad said he is very capable of guiding him, you know. Estana said no. There's no way to be smart doing something so stupid. If he gets lost along the way, he dies okay. But Vlad, in the face of the threat, yes. He simply turned his back and left the guy talking to nothing. Estana thought it was intentionally threatening, and the kid just ignored him. Well, maybe that's why George likes him so much. A child worth raising. Later at the camp, to escape the cold a little, Vlad kept staring at Estana. and he was a little bothered by it. Asked if by chance, is it the first time a retired knight comes? Vlad said up close yes. Estana asked if he's a hick by any chance. But Vlad asked where he was from. When Estana said he was from Dika, he said that yes, and a hick town. And Stanga said he's being nice to him now. But don't be soft, kid. And Vlad said he heard that knight threats. That's not true. Joke and the Stanga was impressed with the food Vlad brought. New jerky. But Vlad said George didn't send him anything. Brain and Estana even had something to eat. A dried meat the old woman that looked like leather. Then later Vlad started to heal that little meat. It looked great. And Estana distracted himself from the hunger he was feeling and asked if Vlad has anything to find out from him. Each question is a piece of meat. What do you think? It's an opportunity that doesn't come up all the time, you know. But Vlad said that if he wants some, just ask. No need to beg. Estana said that he still has his knightly pride. And knights receive something. They need to give something in return. But Vlad said he retired. Estana said that he follows this rule to this day. So Vlad asked some questions. Name Estana age. 42. And asked if by any chance he knows how to use aura. And Estana said that he thought he was just a kid. Innocent. Not every knight is able to use aura. Using aura in a real fight is also something totally different. And Vlad asked if he knows or not. He can have all the meat if he answers, gave. Estana took a look and said that a knight can only receive something if you have given something in return. Isn't it? Then he drew his sword. And Vlad got very excited. He wondered if he would really see someone using aura. Then Estana concentrated, closing only his left eye. He should bring to the world the surface, what lies deep in his soul, and told him to look very carefully. This is the essence of the knights. When he opened both eyes, he invoked his aura on his blade. And after 2 nights, they finally arrived. Tenga said he feels like a mind. A bum. Vlad said that around here it's better to look like a beggar than like a knight. Stanga said he didn't say anything about his appearance, about his mood. He still has his knightly pride. Why do you need to go through this hole? Vlad said his mission was very clear. Guide him secretly. That's why he can't use the main gate. As they walked through the alleys and back streets of the slum, Stanga said it's so quiet that it's even bothering him. And Vlad said it's usually like that at night. Until they came across a scene that Stanga asked if it really is like that at night. And Vlad said this isn't. They were facing a massacre. And Vlad said they should split up. He's going to tell him where the back door is. He's going through the main gate. It's better to divide their attention. So see you later. But when he finally arrived at the tavern, it was all destroyed. But George and Marcelo were alive. George said it's good he's alive. But the con artists attacked first. Those who have a lot of money are on another level. It's been a while since he last had dealt with someone on the same level as a knight. So he ended up like this. But most importantly, asked Vlad if he brought him. He answered yes. Estana is coming through the back door. Must have arrived there. Including George said they will counterattack tomorrow. This time they will end everything. And asked if Estana is good. It's not. Vlad said yes. And he seems like a good person too. In addition to being a knight who can use aura. And George asked what it's like. He asked, wait a minute, Vlad. Did he really use aura? Vlad said yes. He saw. So George took his sword and said that Estana never knew how to use aura. And at this moment, that knight, who claimed to be Estana, appeared saying he hadn't seen George in so long, and said that he has changed quite a bit. And George asked why of all times came to look for him now. And the knight informed that Count Guider ended up passing away. It was not announced due to some complications. But soon everyone will know. So after serving a liquor, the knight made a toast to the regrettable Count Guider, and George went for him with great hatred. His attack broke the glass in half, but the knight managed to dodge, making a toast to the new Count Guider, Sigmund. And George said that Godin won't get away with this. And after hitting swords, Godin said that his mission was to bring back the deserter knight George. But George said that Sigmund will never be his lord, and Godin said that Sigmund doesn't expect him to return either. Obediently, he doesn't even root for it to happen. That's why he was sent here. And after exchanging many blows, Vlad took Marcelo away from there because it was very dangerous. When they returned to the tavern, the butler asked what that is up there, and Vlad told to bring everyone to evacuate Hay. But at that moment, George broke through the wooden wall, falling from the upper floor of the tavern. And Godinho said that he's always making naive decisions, George. When the boss fell extremely injured, people didn't react, except for Claro, Vlad, who threw his little sword. Despite that, Godin simply blocked and ignored the boy. George was almost finished, if it wasn't for his dodge at the last moment. And Godin asked why he just didn't follow orders of that day, and he replied that he doesn't follow orders like a dog. And Godin said no. No, he is a knight. Knights follow orders. That when people gathered around Jorge, they were ready to defend him. And Godin said that this night dragged on for too long. He just wanted to rest a little, while Vlad went down. Godin concentrated his aura on the blade, and Vlad told him not to do that. But it was too late. Godin made countless cuts using the power of aura that not only divided the people inside, like the whole establishment. When what was left collapsed on top of Vlad, he came across a massacre. Everyone was dead, and Vlad last spotted George. He thought George was the first to offer Vlad a hand. This boy who rolled around in the dirt of the alleys, the first to recognize him as a strong person. Only at this moment, he was being carried by Godin, only his decapitated head. And at this moment, everything shattered inside the boy Vlad, who attacked with such force and agility that even Godin was impressed. That was the path of the sword. He wondered why a gutter child knew the way of the sword. He said the kid is even impressive, but he countered with a kick to the pit of his stomach. That threw the boy to the other side of the tavern. And Godin said the boy must have been born with this path of the sword. Can't believe he instinctively got out of this alive. And that voice inside Vlad told him to breathe. Boy wasn't supposed to miss this opportunity. And Godin thought that cutting such a great talent, the rise now would be a clear waste. He could return with a sword, even sharper. And he remembered George, the person who trained him, who said watching those with potential is always a pleasure. And Godin approached Vlad with mercy, saying that a knight only charges a fair price. So he returned all the jerky, saying his name isn't Stanga, that he's not 42 years old. That's why he's returning all this. However, his price is taking George's head. A fair price for him as the winner. And Vlad promised he would kill him. But God said that the way his life is now, as a knight, he shouldn't ask for a higher price than jerky. And Vlad said he will kill him. Bastard. He just had to wait. Because one day, he would kill him. And later, Germana was helping Vlad the cripple get out of the city. But even so, he continues on his way. The moment everything happened, Marcella told him to get up. Or did he want to die here, boy? When he didn't get up, she slapped him in the face, told him to get it together, kid, and asked if he knows the difference between the people who live in the city center and the losers in the favela. It's the opportunity. People can get up even after they fail. They can deal with it. But while this is the result of a single failure. If they fail again, they will die. This is the destiny. So he told Vlad not to miss this opportunity. And even completely injured, Vlad kept saying that it can't end like this. Only at that moment, they were spotted by one of Jack's men, chased by all of them. The nest of the Knights of George was completely destroyed. Now they are little birds on the loose, lost and being hunted. Later all of Jack's guards were on alert, looking for them around the city. That kid who lost his teeth because of Vlad, told to inspect every corner. We'll make him go through the shame he made him go through. At that moment, they passed right in front of Ferreria, exactly where they were hiding. Vlad thought that at this rate, they wouldn't escape. And he told Germana to come back when things calmed down. She needed to get out of here, and it was dangerous if they stayed together. But Germana said she wants to stay by his side. Vlad said she promised Marcella that she would help him get in one place. Good enough. Ready, it's good. She had to return to the convent before sunset, or for Harvin herself. But Germana said she doesn't want to, wants to stay with him. But Vlad said he can't protect her in this state. And at that moment someone spoke to them. And Germana reacted by grabbing a knife from the counter. It was just Ferrero. And he asked what they are doing here. And Germana told him not to move, old man. But he replied saying that they were the ones who invaded. Germana said she's really going to stab him if he gets closer. So he stared into the children's eyes and said he understands the situation they are in. So he was supposed to lower the knife. And Germana ordered him to hand over the sword, the one he is hanging. The outside of the city is no longer safe either. And Vlad asked what she's doing. Put the knife down, Germana. But she keeps asking for the sword. And the blacksmith thought the slums are like this. The true character of people who need to steal from others to survive. He was like that one day too. Now it's her turn. And said that this is very sad. Only at that moment did Germana use her knife, not to stab the blacksmith. She cut her own hair as an oath. She said she knows this isn't enough. She will work for him as long as necessary. But she just wants the sword. Wants the sword for Vlad. The blacksmith asked if the kid is leaving. That's why? That was the sword. He replied yes. Need to go. The blacksmith knew that the only thing he can't do, even dreaming all his life. He knows this young man will succeed. The problem is that he hasn't even opened his wings yet. Then he said that this youth leaves everything more difficult for him. All right. Follow him. Later, they were carrying a cart full of trash. Germana wasn't liking pushing this at all. But the blacksmith said that the only way to leave the city, until some of Jack's guards appeared, asking, what are they doing here at this hour? Throwing garbage away at this hour. Why? And the blacksmith said they closed all the alleys and streets because of this damn fight of theirs. The forge is almost exploding with so much garbage inside, boy. But the guard asked if he didn't work alone. It's that one over there. And he replied no. It's his business who he hires to help him. He is an old man. The guard already said that it's okay. Since he is the only blacksmith for sure. It's all right. I won't kill him. But first I need to see who the hooded guy is. At that moment, he cut off Germana's hood. Only she narrowed her eyes, made a face. And since I had short hair, pretended to be a boy. And the guard said he could. And the blacksmith asked who they are looking for. The guard said they are looking for George's blonde guy. They haven't found his body yet. And the guard said that before passing, they have to be 100% sure. It was supposed to look like a cart. And that's where Vlad was. In the middle of the trash. But the guard told me not to do this here. He was supposed to go to the landfill with him. Then the guard with the spear would make the expression. He followed him to the landfill and said he really brought a lot. And he clearly noticed that that girl was Germana. He told her not to hate him. This is your job. And he poked the trash, leaving the other two desperate. But he poked in a place where he didn't hit. Vlad still informed that I heard that. Harvin placed a boat on the other side of the river. Everyone went there. There must be a reason why the idiot Jack did all this. So he didn't poke Vlad and said that the expectation is ready. Only before they leave OT. This guard said this is the payment for the 40 silvers that your brother Ned was owing. And Vlad mentally thanked Otar. Then they arrived at the city dump. The blacksmith knew that this gave passage to the other side, out of the city. And Germana said goodbye to Vlad. He had to be okay. So he was thrown through the garbage chutes. It was at this moment that even thrown in the trash, a star shone. Later, in an improvised camp in a cave, Vlad asked if that voice could hear him. And she replied yes. I didn't know who he was. Vlad said he had a lot to say about swords. But he doesn't know who he is. It's better than nothing. Can help him. So help him too. Will help him recover his memories. So be his sword. Even if it's the devil himself. He won't care. What he's really afraid of is being nothing. And the voice told him it's okay. We'll speak. We'll tell everything. About his sword. Meanwhile, at the war camp set up by the Biaset family, there was Joseph Biaset saying that this strategy is easy. Too easy. Until his faithful knight Jagger returned. And he realized that his master, Joseph, seemed bothered by something. And Joseph replied yes. It was too easy. The knight said the attack on the monsters occurred smoothly. The number of casualties was low. They are all mercenaries. Joseph said it was a result. Without variables or deserters. Everyone will question their command skills. His father vassals. Of course. His older half-brother. He knows that at this rate there will be destruction. If he fails to become the next count. It is obvious that his brother Rutger will make the Bias family glorify the military. The proof of that is in their history. Since Joseph's father and his blood brothers stepped on each other to get that position, and Joseph said there weren't enough swordsmen besides him. Of course, Jagger. The knight replied that apart from that there is another thing that needs to be informed to a slightly suspicious soldier. The master himself will understand when he sees it later. He showed Joseph several goblins, dead and torn apart by swords. Joseph said that's pretty unpleasant. Probably done by a child who learned to use a sword just now. And Jagger ordered to observe these others too. And as he analyzed everything, he realized that the cuts were very similar. And Jagger asked if it was the same person. Who did all this? Who killed more than 30 goblins at once? Jagger said yes. But these were only the ones they saw yesterday. Those he saw before came from last month. And Joseph wondered if one person did all this in just 1 month, and asked who it was. And at that moment, in the Nevada forest, a group of mercenaries were massacring goblins, but one of them was caught off guard by a big orc who simply crushed the mercenary, as if it was nothing, and roared at the others, investing and killing everyone in front of him. Of course, the mercenaries weren't expecting a walk in. The commander asked what they are doing. Damn mercenaries are being paid to stand there. But mercenaries said they didn't know they would have the orc, the robbing goblin. And when the commander drew his sword to do this, he himself was caught off guard by Robin Goblin, faced this situation, and saw that it wasn't worth much. Didn't see. Only a blonde man, with only one sword, approached Robin Goblin without any fear. That was Raman Laudable, but his real name was unknown to everyone. Raman promised he would deal with it. Quickly advanced against Rob Goblin, and only one cut from him was able to injure the creature, but he realized it was a very shallow cut. The voice told him to dodge. He managed at the last moment. But Raymond said that he failed again. The master said he's really an idiot. Can't do that, even after telling him to do it. And Vlad thought he wasn't any kind of genius. But he will win, just taking the longest path to victory. The Robin Goblin, despite having heavy blows, wasn't as fast as Vlad. He dodged everything. And at the last moment, after that crushing blow from Rob Goblin, he can finally prepare his blow. That would execute Rob Goblin. His pressure was so powerful that even the creature got scared. But Raman the Commendable killed the creature. And Joseph sent Jagger. Immediately investigate this Raman guy. Praiseworthy. Joseph thought, that makes no sense. Clumsy and careless blows to the bodies. And to think that he would walk the path of the sword in just 1 month. Definitely. That kid must be some kind of genius. And later, the mercenaries were picking up the bodies, seeing that it only had garbage, but still had to collect the goblins. And one of the mercenaries said that the captain was great, this time too. And Vlad told him to stop talking nonsense. Boy, it was to carry the corpses. And the mercenary said that he already did it, boss, and asked what he is going to do now. Wants to do other jobs with him, with his fencing and his brain. But Vlad said no. Doesn't work with strokes. But the guy said that a mercenary plate can't keep using it. He knows someone very good at forgeries. But Vlad spoke to the goat that he should know that chatterboxes always die early. And the mercenary said that he was just saying this for his own good. It's a shame he doesn't want to. So Vlad told him to shut up and keep cleaning. When the mercenary left, Vlad thought that one day he will have to teach a lesson on that guy. So when he left, the others, mercenaries, realized that he was going to pray again. Believed that Rima was really a very devout person. Except that in reality Vlad wasn't in the clearing to pray. He simply said, what the hell again? Couldn't kill that Robin Hood with just 1 cut. And your master said he's a fool. The principle of 1 hit and a kill is in the element. Surprise. When he raises the sword he goes ox. When he swings it, it goes wow. And Vlad asked if he was supposed to understand that, while he listened to all that nonsense, and cursed his own master. All the other mercenaries prayed with him, thinking he was really praying. Back at the camp, Vlad asked what meat is he eating? The guard said he doesn't know. At least it fills my belly. It's very difficult to find places where the bosses provide food. So it's good not to complain, you know. And another one said that's it. Better than nothing. Vlad told them to take advantage then. So again Vlad went to meet with the priest of the camp, Father Andreas. And Andreas said he heard he was praying at night too. It must have been very cold. But he's a devout boy. And Vlad said he could never feel cold while being blessed by God. He thought that actually. He spent all night training that dam. The priest said that Vlad looks more like a priest than he does, until one of the little ones said that the meal was ready for the priest. And Andres said he was going to have coffee now. Why didn't Vlad join him at the table? But he replied that he didn't come to eat, Father, but he had to stay. They prayed before the meal. And at that moment Vlad really prayed. Andres realized he was an honest devotee. Even at the end of the world, he hadn't lost his faith. I am the one who needed to guide this young man, so he wouldn't get lost in madness, thanks to blood and wars. It must be one of the destinies that God carried. Him and Vlad was very excited to eat the food that the priest received. Whole wheat bread, soup, cheese, that's real food. The priest, Andres, said that I heard a lot about Vlad's fencing. It seems that Joseph too. Sir Jagger even came to him asking about Vlad. And Vlad asked, then what did he do? Andres said he recommended him to Joseph himself, was eager to see how he will grow. The Bay's family is a renowned family from the north. The simple fact of working directly for them can provide a great environment. And he knows that Vlad is entitled to that. And later Vlad, in one of his prayers, which was just a conversation with his sword master, he said that he seems to have become too remarkable. The master said he didn't have a choice. Clear. His fencing can only be learned with excellence. Maybe the main problem has been getting close to the priest. But Vlad said he had to guarantee it, right? And the master asked if he's sure, now that he is not an evil being or thing like that. Vlad said yes. The priest, Andres, has enough reputation to become a bishop, since he didn't notice any demonic force. Vlad admits that it's okay. The master is not a demon or anything, but asked if they should run away now or talk to Joseph. The master said he might ignore this false identity of his, since he is very skilled. But Vlad said that eventually they will find out that he killed one of the mercenaries who was stealing, will be accused of forging his murder identity. And the master said he is a very evil guy, huh? Vlad said he was an accomplice kid. The master said that then he thinks it would be better to run away. The allegations of legitimate defense only works when there is a witness. Vlad said that then they will run away tonight. They will get Gerda to run away together, so they can get a fake plate. But the master said someone is approaching. Careful, at least an advanced knight. And Vlad reacted by raising his sword. But it was Jagger, who was surprised that the boy noticed his presence. And he said that Sir Joseph wants to meet him. And Vlad thought he should have run away when he had the chance. If he doesn't act perfectly now, we'll be killed. So he said yes. It will be an honor to meet Sir Joseph. Tiger asked if he knew he was coming. Vlad said that yes, heard from the priest, but he didn't imagine he would see him so soon. And Jagger was still impressed with the boy, because he didn't feel intimidated by him. Then it bugged even Joseph, and the master told Vlad, don't even try to run away now. A knight like Jagger kills him without even trying. And Vlad realized he didn't have much choice, right? Later he was meeting with Joseph, who said it's a pleasure to finally meet him, but immediately asked if he has any complaints regarding the work he does here. Vlad said no. Everyone here is grateful for his consideration, sir. And Joseph said he is blonde with blue eyes. Thought he was from a family of fallen nobles. His name is Raman, right? Should have told him that before. And at that moment Jagger slapped Raman's face. In quotation marks, right? And Joseph said he despises liars. Vlad of Jorah. Vlad then said that he already knew everything. Joseph said it was confirmed that his mother was a divorced woman, still unable to find anything about his father, and asked if he happens to know who his father is. Vlad said it's funny what he says, asking the son of a divorced woman if he knows who his father is. And for the audacity, Tiger kicked his leg, causing him to kneel, and told him to remember to have good manners in the presence of the Lord. But Jesus said he doesn't need that. Stopping to think about, it was even funny. When it comes to a group of mercenaries, could have killed and brought a god. Now that they know why he fled from Zora, why don't you say where you learned to wield the sword, huh? His eyes hide a lot, boy. And when Jack drew his sword, Vlad revealed that he had a teacher who appeared and disappeared like lightning. He didn't say his name, but said that the secret of a lonely man, always victorious, should not be revealed to anyone. And Joseph thought his look was firm, was not lying. He apologized for the harsh treatment with him. May not be aware, but now he's in a pretty complicated situation. So he has an offer to the boy. He asked if Vlad de Zarara doesn't want to light a place superior to that power, freedom, survival, chivalry, can give it all to him. He, Joseph, by his side, would like to support him as his godfather and Mecenas, and later he was training with Jagger himself, enduring the heavy blows. The mercenaries realized he was doing well, but they said Tiger was going easy on the kid. Maybe he would become Tiger's disciple. Impressive. They said Raymond will have a promising future ahead, and Vlad, despite of blocking the blows from Tiger's wooden sword, was having trouble doing that. And Tiger said he's so arrogant, kept his head up in front of Mr. Joseph, with ridiculous skills, that even this is a brat who doesn't know his place. And Vlad was almost being knocked down, realizing that dodging and hitting right after wouldn't be an option. It is very powerful to block too. In this case, he changed his sword stance, making Jagger's sword slip out, and hit a counter-attack head-on in Jagger's block. And he admitted that the boy even has some skills. But Vlad thought it wasn't him who hit the blow. It was Jagger who let him hit. But the knight revealed, morning and afternoon will duel with him twice a day. That may be what ends the morning match. And told him not to cool his body too much. Keep it warm. And when he left, Vlad thought this guy is very uncommitted, isn't he? And his master said he has remarkable skills. Indeed. Jagger relentlessly blocked all the superfluous movements that Vlad made. It is being hit like this that Vlad will learn. And Vlad said it doesn't seem like there's anyone on his side. Even the people who teach seem too severe. Later Jagger was informing Sir Joseph that the boy really can be useful at the point he is. He would even have the Count's attention if he were a noble, and Joseph said he knew his judgment was right. But the knight informed that the problem is that he is arrogant, doesn't know his place. Joseph said that's normal, since he grew up in the alleys. Etiquette can be taught too, if done slowly. And he has the right guy for this job. It's just that Jagger said you can't trust a sword. Disloyal. Joseph said it's better then that he shows what he feels inside. Actually, that conviction he has in his eyes. It could be for the best. A relationship where both sides want something from each other. He knows very well that that boy isn't exactly a wolf either. Seems arrogant, unreliable, and full of himself. And told the Juggernaut to hurry. They're going to build a big cage around this kid. So big that he even confuses it with freedom. And later, actually almost at dawn, White was on patrol saying it was so cold. And he wondered if Vlad was working for Jagger now. Should have conquered that man too. Anyway, it's great to advance in your career like that, right? Good for him. Until another mercenary, Roderick's, approached and Guato took. It was a scare. Roderick told him to do his job. Right. Then when he left into the middle of the forest alone, Guato leaned and didn't hear anything the guy said. He went back to dozing. Actually, but he realized that Roderick was talking to someone. But Guato himself didn't see anyone. He was talking to himself. When he approached at a slow pace, he saw something around Roderick. It looked like a demonic presence. And the next morning, Vlad was all sore. After another duel with Jagger, and the master told him to stop complaining. It's a golden opportunity. There is no shortage. People who would pay to train with Jagger. Vlad said it seemed like that guy wanted. Finish him off. That is. The master said that makes the fight even better. Everyone needs motivation after all. Only at this moment, he heard someone calling for him. Hey, cousin. And it was Gerda, who was behind a tree, trying to be discreet, but not being even a little bit. And he told Vlad that he's running away tonight. And told Vlad that he should run away too. He saw something with his own eyes. That grove. He's cursed. They've had some deserters so far. It's not, but the payment is great. The work environment too. So there's no reason to have deserters. Goat said the grove took them all. They weren't deserters. They disappeared. He saw the ghost that takes people into the grove he saw. Even Vlad looked at him. He said he's a rascal. And you're kidding with this kind of serious thing. Garit said no. He's telling the truth. He saw the warrior who was lost yesterday. Vlad asked Sir Roderick. Garit said yes. He was the last person who saw him. And when returning, I discovered something else. All the people who have disappeared so far had black hair. And later, White was very nervous and thought he had good intentions. But it was shit. Should have run away soon. This is because Vlad spoke to Jagger. And Jagger gathered a whole platoon to search the woods. And of course White was there. Jagger asked if he could trust that guy. Vlad said no. But White isn't crazy either. Jagger thought he only came because he himself. Joseph said this was like an opportunity. But something bothers me in this whole story. Because everyone who disappeared had black hair. Just like the young Master Joseph. He thought he wouldn't be left behind. With Roderick's disappearance now, someone more skilled than him must come forward. And NgocMy reported that they were approaching the expedition squad. Everyone introduced themselves as subordinates of Sir Roderick. They searched around the woods, but they didn't find if was a trace of Roderick. The messenger said that even with mercenaries, they didn't find any footprints of him. Jagger thought he would check for himself and ordered a search of the area. In a group of 3 people, it was supposed to spread everywhere, and they stayed there for a good while. The Goyist said that's not right. How can you do this to him? He said Vlad is a false friend. That's right. He replied to stop talking Toria and focus on the search. Boy will reward him later. Except so far they haven't found anything. Jagger said he's really useless. Vlad said he's from the city. Doesn't look for anyone through the forest. And Jagger asked how they found missing people in the dark alleys. Vlad said it was like this. Grabbed someone who might know this information. Beat her until she opened her stomach, and that's it. Jagger said he's really useless. He noticed the sunset. It would soon be night. There would be where to return like that maybe. But then, he spotted the frozen lake and asked if anyone had searched beyond the lake. The cat said that as far as he knows, no. They didn't cross, because it wasn't on the expedition's route. Jagger thought maybe it was the last possibility, and ordered, gather all the mercenaries to cross the lake. When the White called for everyone, Vlad stepped on the lake. He realized that it wasn't completely frozen, but it was enough for them to be able to cross to the other side. When the whole group showed up, Jagger said they're going to expand the searches. Crossing the lake, they will divide into groups of 3, then start crossing so that the lake doesn't give way. They passed cautiously so as not to sink into the ice, and yet Goit had a terrible feeling. A weak person, like him, needs to have good intuition to survive. And right now what he's feeling is that they shouldn't cross this lake. Vlad said he doesn't know about his intuition, but he's sure of one thing. If he runs away now, his death will not be peaceful, and asked if he really thinks the only witness can escape the scene, and told him to stop messing around and follow him. Soon God said that no matter what he says, I'm making a mistake here, and asked Vlad if this ice can crack. Cannot. He replied yes. The more time they spend on top of it, the worse. But Git was so scared that he even laid down on the ice. Got even more terrified when he saw what was underneath him. All the missing men, the bodies of those people with black hair, were all frozen under the lake. When they realized this, all the ice broke and those men came back to life as an order of zombies. The mercenaries asked Jagger what they would do, and Jagger finally realized it was all a trap, probably elaborated by a witch. He realized it would soon be night, the moment when these creatures became even more powerful. At that moment the priest, Andres, was doing another one of his prayers, until he noticed something strange. He felt a chill and saw a demonic energy approaching. At that moment, near Joseph's camp, there was that same haunting that took all the men to the forest, was infesting the environment with its demonic energy. Meanwhile, the god was almost being caught by one of the zombies, but his head was cut in half by Vlad, who quickly with his sword path cut all the zombies, and White remained terrified, seeing members flying everywhere. Vladim commanded to get a spear and get up, you useless, and your master told you not to get upset, boy. It was to choose a direction and attack. Only that. Vlad realized I couldn't move forward, and wondered if Jagger would be okay. Jagger himself was also easily dealing with the zombies. The problem is that the other men were being caught and bitten by the creatures. He thought he realized too late that this is a trap. Don't know who planned all this, but the target is very obvious. He couldn't hesitate here, and using his aura, he destroyed all the zombies in front of him. The mercenaries even motivated themselves to kill the zombies, and Jagger told Vlad to fulfill his contract. All he had to do was return to the post and protect Mr. Joseph. And Vlad said yes, sir, and sent Goat to sea with him. Jagger thought he was praying so that this boy can arrive and protect Joseph while battling the other zombies. He came across one well known to him, apologized for the delay. Roderick, who had also been transformed into one of these creatures. Meanwhile, at Joseph's camp, one of the knights, Bordeo, approached saying it was an emergency, but Joseph asked if he came to him without checking the situation. Idiot didn't bring any sword drugs, and Jordan realized too late that he was without his blade. He apologized to his master until the other knights appeared accompanied by the priest. Andreas. Joseph asked if he knows what's going on. Priest, he informed that yes, it's evil, and ordered to take a look at this. His Bible is written with sacred ink. The writing is trembling as if it were a storm. It's not a common object. It's a demonic presence that's doing this. He is not an exorcist, but will release as much divine power as he has. But he doesn't know if he can defeat a being as evil as this, sir. Joseph thought that none of the knights that is here created his own sword world or has an aura to use. However, those are your only options, and he left accompanied by them. However, saw fog. That fog was taking all the other mercenaries in the camp, was zombifying them. Joseph realized that this was a fog that made to Delario and the priest. Andres was sure it wasn't a natural phenomenon. At that moment, they heard the voice of that haunting, calling for her son, asking where he is. When everyone spotted, they stayed completely shocked. It was a woman with black hair, straight and long, and with his big mouth, stared directly at Joseph, saying she finally found her son. But the creature, before it could approach, she was struck by divine power and began to burn. The priest, Andres, and his apprentice were reciting verses, divine. Still, Joseph realized it wouldn't be enough. Those knights who had no aura had already fallen, and even with the blessing falling on that woman, she was still standing. That was a curse. Joseph knew it was a curse directed at him. Asked who on earth did this. At that moment, Jean, Andreas' apprentice, fell to his knees, and the creature almost passed through the divine barrier. But the boy started singing again with everything he had, and Joseph realized that the two were at their limit. The divine hymn would soon end. It wouldn't last long enough for the sun to rise. But he saw one last night approaching. It was Vlad, who followed his sword path to the evil creature. But the master informed him that this creature was animated by a curse. A normal sword can't cut it, and asked if the kid could use the aura. Vlad asked if he was kidding. The master said that's good. There's another way, and asked to borrow his body. For a moment, he knows he can use the aura, but doesn't know if he can manifest it in the boy's body. Even if he succeeds with that, he won't be able to move for a while. It will affect his body. He wouldn't recommend it. But Vlad said he doesn't have much choice. If you can't kill this creature here, God knows what will happen. The master said this is the path of the sword he knows. So Vlad agreed. He made a promise to Joseph. He will do what he must do, no matter the means. So the master respected his choice. So he took over the boy's body for a while. That he was feeling the effects of that. And the moment he approached the haunting, told him to close his right eye, Vlad. And when he did that, invoked the world of voices. A great lightning storm imbued Vlad's body and his blade, and with the thundering cut, he split the creature in half before the impressed looks of everyone. Despite that, he fell. Vlad felt all that pressure in his body. Use that ability was extremely dangerous for his life. And Joseph realized that the traces on the boy were definitely aura. Doesn't know how he did it, but paid a big price. Still, the creature was still alive, splitting in half, crawling closer to Vlad. And Joseph ran over there and told the priest not to stop the hymn. He went to Vlad and helped him get up, but was caught by the creature at the last moment. literally pulled by the foot. But Vorden appeared. Was useless until now. But as the last act of redemption, threw Joseph and Vlad away from the creature, closer to the divine him. And Joseph said it's the first time he's happy for having Vorden by his side. When Vlad finally got up, asked the priest to please bless his sword. They must end this woman. Andres grabbed the sword by the blade and imbued it with his blood and made a solid blessing, the blood of a bishop. Then Vlad approached with the blessed sword to execute the dying creature, who begged incessantly only for someone to find her child. And Vlad thought it was only for an instant. But when he approached the haunting, he saw something inside her. He saw a woman trapped inside this creature, inside a dark prison, while her babies were on the cold floor. The terrible memories of this woman. She lamented, while her child was freezing to death, right before her eyes, and he wished her to rest in peace. Finally, that's why he finished, executed that haunting, stabbing the sword right in her head, and finally giving that woman a dignified end. Meanwhile, the person who was controlling that curse was very happy with the result, until the black magic disappeared. He wondered why this dark wizard knows very well that only a knight who uses aura could kill the haunting, until Jagger, a knight who knows how to use aura, approached him, saying that he is the little mouse who was controlling the puppet. When it had already dawned, he took the head of the dark wizard directly to Joseph, saying that he was the one who controlled the corpse, using dark magic, and the cursed object he used was this wooden box that he was using to control the creature. Joseph ordered to leave this with the priest. He will investigate the problem. Apparently, the expedition was a complete failure, and Jagger apologized to his lord for that. But Joseph said that despite being a failure, they are relaxed about it. It was useful because it seems he found a person who can replace his sword. That boy will be, for sure, a knight who will shine brighter than all the others. He has, sure of that. But when Vlad woke up, he wasn't doing very well. Looking like a star, no? He wondered if he had been unconscious for 3 days. The master said yes. Next time, you'll have to be a little more careful. Even, he didn't know that the side effects would be so extreme. Vlad said it's still a relief. He thought they would return immediately, as soon as they finished this matter. The master said they were waiting for his recovery. That man, Joseph, seemed to care a lot about him. In fact, commenting here now, narrator's comment, I Gabi no I. EU the person who. It's strange to think that this master who's inside him, stays awake even when he's sleeping, right? Because he kind of saw everything that happened in those 3 days. That Vlad was unconscious. But when he left the tent, he realized the camp was deserted. Okay, that makes sense. People must have fled, except for Gerda, who already appeared saying he was worried about him. Captain, Vlad said the guy who was barking so much about fleeing stayed longer. He replied that, of course, they promised a raise for those who stayed. And Gerda said he wasn't a coward. Returned to danger. Took his captain and brought him to the camp. Have to make him look cooler later. And he informed Pro. Vlad too. That Jagger asked him to report. As soon as he woke up, when he arrived at Joseph's tent, he was already offering him a drink and asked if he drinks. Vlad said yes, sir. He worked at a bar. Only, of course, never tasted a high-quality liqueur. Joseph said this is a drink for a nobleman. I would first like to thank the boy. He could have simply fled, but decided to actually fulfill his promise. Vlad said they had a contract. Isn't it? Joseph said yes. But Vlad himself promised faith, not loyalty. He thought the contract was nothing more besides words. And yet the boy fulfilled it. It is a talent he cannot lose. It is a talent he needs to have. So in that case, instead of fulfilling his part of the contract, said that he will reward Vlad for his achievements, then formally invited him to be part of the Bias house as his knight. And later, they were in the country of Bias Varna. When they finally arrived, the dragon reported that the mercenaries had already been dismissed, and he realized that Vlad was a bit lost, because the city was very big for him. And Jagger said he is the hillbilly himself. And Joseph said that the boy could take a day off to get to know the city, look around. And Jagger said not to get lost. Be in the town hall at dusk. And Vlad thought he hates this guy so much, but the master said that Jagger likes him as much as Joseph. But Vlad said it doesn't matter. He's happy, received a big promotion, and a promise of a great salary. He will now have a very fat meal after a long time. And at that moment Jean, the priest's assistant, approached him, saying that if he has no specific plans for today, the priest would like to extend an invitation to him. And later, in the great church that was in the city, the Vladia, of course, was very impressed. And Jean explained that Varna is a religious center. That's why the church is so big and delicately made here, and asked him to wait inside. Soon the priest would find him. And when Vlad entered and came across the altar, and with the cross, was very incredulous. It was beautiful. He thought that never made a prayer properly in his life. Even though he has the title of Rhyme, the worshipper, he feels he has committed a sin. Until Andreas appeared with a gift for him. His identity was an identity with a cross. And Andreas explained that the Lord, Joseph, would have managed alone. No problem. Only church identities are much more effective. After all, the Lord's favor is recognized throughout the continent. And Vlad realized that in that identity, said his guarantor was the priest Andreas. And he said he didn't need you, sir. But Andreas said that. Anything. Just come back here, my son. This moment on will be your guarantor. So Vlad knelt before him. He was just a boy from the alleys, unable to have his name registered as soon as he was born. And now with this sincere guarantor in front of him, registered and baptized his name to the vast world. From today, it wasn't Vlad from Backstreet. It was Vlad from Zora. The next day Joseph explained many things to him. Bayezid's contact included 12 cities and 3 municipalities. The Zora distribution center, the religious center of Varna, and that there too. The capital of the city, Sturma, where they were entering now. Later, Jagger was explaining very sternly that both Vlad and Gerda were guests of Sir Joseph. It was to maintain etiquette and cordiality, without doing any stupidity, okay? They weren't supposed to run around like 2 hillbillies. The maids took care of everything and told them to wait to eat, okay? Later they will be served with a banquet. When they arrived at the reception hall, Gerda was already impressed right there, and said that Bayezid is not kidding, until a person approached, saying he's never seen anything like it before, and asked who are these two, huh? But Vlad, I staring, realized this guy looks a bit familiar, but his aura was on another level. It's as if he could kill a person just by staring. And Goy introduced himself. He said he was accompanying Mr. S. expedition, Joseph, and said that this one next to him is Vlad himself. Vlad from Zora introduced himself. The man said it was the first time he'd heard that name, and realized that the blonde boy has a fierce look. He's not letting himself be intimidated, even with the aura he has. Joseph put his hands on a very useful guy, liked him, and asked if he wanted a little peanut. But Vlad said that Jagger ordered them not to eat for now. And Goat asked if the lunatic is rejecting food from that guy, and even the guy himself was quite confused. This was Vlad's first feed of Zaura. In Bayezid's mansion, he refused the peanuts offered by Rutger, the Count's eldest son, and Rutger said these peanuts are so good. But if you don't want to eat, that's fine. And Joseph went to his father to make the report, who was also curious about this Vlad. He said they haven't had anyone notable, except for Jack, who was brought by his mother, can transform that boy into a knight as good as Jagger. Will reward him for it too. And Joseph thanked his father. The Count said he understands that his sword isn't that strong, but never forget that he is in Bayezid. Then he dismissed his son. When his son left, told the secretary that they should provide some medicine for him. He said it would be good like that. He is sure he would be grateful for that. Mrs. Oksana too. The Count said that woman really cares a lot when it comes to her son, and asked Secretary Hagmas, what do you think of Joseph's report? Hagmas said they should take this very seriously. Strange things are happening one after the other. The Count said yes. Have to find out who's behind it all. Everyone is committing evil acts in your land. Hagmas said that Varna reporters have arrived. Apparently, it's a combination of resurrection of the dead and cursed techniques. He believes this is the work of masters in black magic. Count said it could be a group or a large organization. Even so, it doesn't change anything. The Bayezid house is unmatched. unwavering. They are ready to do what is necessary to get rid of your obstacles. Hope to find these bastards again soon. Those who dare to put their son in danger and create chaos in his land, they will pay for it. And when it was already night, Joseph finally went to meet the two boys. And Joseph said to Gerda that they will discuss his reward tomorrow. The maid would take him to his quarters to rest. But Vlad stayed to chat. Joseph admitted that the boy Vlad saved his life. He decided to devote his sword to him and his future. But Joseph also understands the need for the boy's freedom. To say that he will devote his sword to someone and want freedom is a bit contradictory. He will clarify everything. Joseph asked what exactly he plans to do with his freedom. If you tell about it, can find out precisely what offer can make. And Vlad, looking at the moonlight, asked if by chance Joseph knows the knight who looks like moonlight. Blue, his name is Goading de Gaidar. Even Joseph was very impressed. Thought he was just a useful child, but has an extraordinary past. He asked then if the unidentified man who destroyed the tavern was Goading de Gaidar. And Vlad would never forget him, not for a second. The man who killed his savior and destroyed the world he defended. And he said, yes, sir. Joseph said he can't help him with that. This guy is beyond his influence. And Vlad thought he already expected it. Joseph is a simple son of Count. Even so, he is happy because he told the truth. Joseph then proposed to modify the contract, would offer him a 7-year contract. He put aside his pride as a nobleman. This was an action of great decision for him. And Vlad thought he might not know much. But it looks like an action. Unprecedented. Because Jagger is very pissed. Joseph promises a bright future because he saved him, intends to dress him, feed him, train him during these 7 years. Transformed into a knight. And of course Vlad was attracted to this idea. Joseph said that in return, he only wants his loyalty. But of course, will not be able to do anything about Godin at this time. However, he can take care of some matters. About the alleys of Zurara, he heard that the German child has a type of pact, a sect now. He asked what Vlad can conquer alone, only with a sword. Indeed, the sword is the sharpest weapon in the world, but he also has his own weapons, and asked Vlad what he thinks about it. Later, Joseph admitted that the child wanted something higher, and Jagger asked if there's a specific reason why he's getting attached to this child. She's not the only useful one out there. Joseph said she is. All children have potential, but whether they will blossom or not is a completely different story. And he thinks Vlad is completely above his expectations. He saw with his own eyes the power that boy has. But Jagger said he's not just unpredictable. He's also quite rebellious. He won't be easy to deal with. Joseph said 7 years is not a short time. It's enough to tame, mollify, and pacify him. And Jagger said he will do his best, sir. And the Lord said he thought he was just a wolf. Useful. But it seems that he is a wolf that chases its own moon. Then the next morning, Vlad got a private room. And Vlad said the floor is not dirty, and there is even a bed. It looks like a palace to him. And Jagger said that for a moment, he forgot that he came from the alleys. Usually those who come from wealthy families find this here little thing. But he will be fine, as long as he doesn't make any mistakes. Vlad said that's good. He refused Mr. Reuter's peanuts, right? Jagger said that's in the past. He told me to go to the training field. After it starts, they would duel twice a day. Once in the morning and once in the afternoon. Exactly as on the expedition. Until a madam appeared before Jagger, his faithful knight. And Jagger spoke quietly to Vlad that this is Lady Oksana, Joseph's mother. So they both revered her with great respect. Oksana asked if this is the child. Jagger said that Joseph brought him personally. They stared at each other for a moment. And Vlad even felt warmed by that motherly look. And Oksana thanked him for saving her son from danger. And Vlad said he was just doing his duty. But she said she must reward him. He did something more incredible than he imagined, and said that his hair is such a beautiful color. It matches his eyes. For someone thin, he also has very broad shoulders. He would look very handsome if he gained some weight. And Vlad was all embarrassed and thanked her. Then she left, wishing Jagger a good job. When they were alone, Jagger said he didn't know Vlad had that side. Also why he was so intimidated. Vlad said he had never been near a lady. like that before. And Jagger admitted that it wasn't so bad after all. Oksana's law is especially difficult to deal with. Then they left for the cafeteria. And right at the first moment, there was already a son of a bitch spitting in his soup. Vlad stared at the soup, picked up that spit, threw it out of the plate, and drank the soup. Fuck it. He simply didn't care about the others making fun of him. That's because, well, he's being directly threatened by Jagger. All the actions he commits here directly affect Joseph's reputation, so he can't do anything. Only before those bullies left, Vlad asked what his name was, and the boy introduced himself as Sovanin. And Vlad stood up saying he would remember his name. And later, passing by the training field, there was Count Bayezid himself who stopped to observe a little with his secretary. Soon he found Vlad. He heard that he was blonde and said that the kid looks good. And Hagmis told the Count that someone is watching secretly, and it was Jack. He was hiding to watch Vlad's training. And the Count himself was also curious to know how skilled this boy was. Against his first opponent, he dominated him completely with his blade. They were fast blows, powerful. The Count said he's clumsy, but something shines inside him. He's doing his best to use what he's learned. And Vlad remembered what the master told him. All fencing begins with his step, the position of the feet. If he can deceive his opponents with his shoulders and with his gaze, if he does that, he can control his opponent's movements. At that moment, he managed to feint on his enemy. I'm going to hit him with that low guard he had. A sure hit, even with a wooden sword. It hurt him a lot. Then Vlad even grabbed him by the hair and said he is Sovanin's squire. He didn't adore laughing at his face. Earlier he didn't and asked to laugh a little more. So, he started beating him right there in front of everyone. Agnes said he understands that they are training, but asked if it's okay to beat him up like that. Or when he told him to, let them become a knight. This type of spirit is necessary. Besides, it seems that Jagger is loving all this. He had a shining look for Vlad. And at that moment, another knight apprentice tried to stop Vlad, asking if he thinks he's kidding. Then Vlad with his bloody fists. After beating that boy, he apologized. He got a little absorbed in the fight. Then he approached Sovanin and told him to apologize to him when he wakes up later. You understand, right? He can't come back to his senses when he's so absurd like that. And he's going to apologize to him in advance too, because it won't end with just that. And if the soup is bland, he'll call him to spit in it again. It can be. And Sovanin didn't even think this kid is crazy. Joseph brought a crazy dog from the alleys. And later, at mealtime, the White asked Vlad if he has hit other vassals. The humor has been spreading a lot. But Vlad asked, and what about him? The knight's job is quiet. Goat said he's not an ordinary knight. But that's not important now. I heard he's beating people up here. That's a crime. But Vlad asked what's the surprise. He's always been a criminal. He's taking it easy actually. Besides that, he didn't beat those so obviously who picked a fight earlier too. Now no one talks to him unnecessarily. So it's being very comfortable. The moment he said that, one little boy, one other apprentice called Portly Kenner, approached him. Vlad asked if he has business with him. Either sit down or get out. Don't stand there shaking like an idiot. Kenner asked if he can really sit down. Then when he sat down, Vlad thought that's good. It would be better if he had left. But that's okay. Kenner said he's always been eating alone, in places like the bathroom. And Vlad said he's eating now, don't interrupt. He's eating this delicious sausage. E.O. Kenner said that your father provides all the meats from here. They work with cattle and livestock for generations. I'm going to say he was asking for more sausages, that it was a bit of his. And Vlad asked what he's talking about. Think it will convince him with that. And later he was in a room full of sausage. Sausage. My little meat. Prosciutto. And Keener said your father sent. But there's too much to eat alone. And of course Vlad was loving it. All the vassals there, the knight apprentices, was a young master of great families. It would be good to at least build a connection here. Right? And he asked Kenner if from today he wants to eat with them. And he said of course yes. Vlad said, that's it. They vassals have to get along right. And he thought of course he's not doing this for the sausage. Later, Jagger was thinking that serving Joseph and creating an entire human being is not easy at all. He will only be able to really breathe when the other knights recover. Until another night. Sir Gregory asked where Jagger was going in such a hurry, and Jagger didn't want to be stopped by him. Gregory said he's being a little obvious with his disgust, and Jagger said he's a little busy now. He answered yes. Yes, of course. It doesn't surprise him. He's doing all of Joseph's work. It's not, but he said that someone like him should be taking care of a vassal. He honestly thinks it's not too late for that. And Jagger asked why he doesn't take care of his own vassals, instead of meddling in other people's lives. Gregory said that his Kinner is already quite grown up. In fact, he even needs to grow a little less and lose weight. And he said that Vlad guy even seemed nice, especially in confident character. Jagger told him to get straight to the point, and Gregory said that it seems that Vlad is getting closer to Kinner recently, and asked to please tell him to be friendly with Kinner. I mean, he is your cousin's nephew. You can't let him get beaten up around there. Is not it? And Jagger asked if this will be free. Gregory said he will owe him a favor, but he replied that that boy doesn't even listen. Gregory said that this is a good knight's path. That's it. And later in the stable, Gerda told Vlad that from what he sees, he is not the problem, except that he can't even get on the horse. Everyone here is properly trained. They don't avoid people, but when Vlad approaches they lose control. Even the others. Stable hands said that this is very strange, and Vlad thought that it had always been like that. Puppies, cats, all kinds of animals hate him. But he remembered that on the night they ran away from the living dead, he got on Mr. Jagger's horse. But who actually rode was Gerda. And he said that Jagger's horse is really stopped, and Vlad wondered if he can only ride expensive horses. And that damn still insisted he learn to ride. But suddenly a maid approached, telling Vlad that Lady Oksana is calling for him, specifically for him. Later, Oksana said that it doesn't even look like he grew up in periphery, and said that this outfit looked great on him. And the poor thing was shaking all over. And she said, for your tailor not to adjust too tight. Just 17 years old. Still growing. She said that when summer comes, we'll buy more clothes for him. Clothes that adapt to the season are essential to maintain physical performance. And Vlad thanked Lady Oksana a lot. She said he saved her son's life. She should be thanking, and apologized for interrupting his training. When he left, Vlad was very relieved. He said staying in the presence of that woman is very difficult. He thought these clothes he's wearing are so comfortable. They don't even look like his. Well, it's not like it's really his. But he also can't get used to it. He tried so hard to enter the Bayezid family. Still doesn't feel like he belongs here. While passing through the corridors, through the window, he saw a scene. The Sova even beating poor Kinner. He already suffered a lot of bullying, but now he was suffering even more, just because he joined Vlad. And he thought that no matter where you go, people are the same. In the end, they are scoundrels who take advantage of the weakest. So he picked up his old clothes and said he will wear them today. Don't want to get this clean clothes dirty. So at night he knocked on Kinner's door, who was very purple, swollen. Vlad said he would like something from him. That big ham is. Of course Kinner was discouraged, thinking that Vlad was just another one of those profiteers who wanted everything that was his. And if he didn't give it, he would be beaten again. But Kinner thought that still, it's better than eating alone. So he handed over the ham. And Vlad told him not to think of it as unfair. He is only receiving a price. Fair for what you will do. A knight he knows. He said that. He only receives the price that is rightfully his. And later, Vlad was facing 14 enemies. He said that even the bandits of because they wouldn't go that far. And the Sovani told him to shut up. Soon this arrogance of his will end. Vlad told him to shut his mouth then. And when everyone went for him, Vlad got very excited. Because today's weather forecast is rain of blood. The very first ones were already cannon fodder. They were all knocked down with one blow. Only in the face of this wooden sword. But it looked like he was hitting with a hammer. The Sovane, thought Vlad, was completely different from training. He thought it made no sense. 2 months ago, this guy could barely wield a sword, and told no one to back down. He will kill anyone who backs down here. But Vladim cut the distance with him in 1 second, and said he dares to say that. but asked if has he really killed anyone before, and dodging another useless blow from Sovanam. He thought that during the expedition he was very busy, training unique blows with all his strength, and is testing them all now. The master said that's it. The result of training irregular cuts is showing his brilliance, and told him to continue catching his opponent in the gap he was creating, and even blocking. The Sovani was receiving several blows across his body, because they were all irregular blows. He couldn't predict what Vlad would do. Vlad finally understood his breach, his space, your flow. He easily knocked down the Sovane, and with the wooden sword, he almost stuck it right in the coward's head. He almost lost an eye there, because Vlad was merciful, and missed his head on purpose, and told him never to look at him again, and not at the chubby one either. And the Sovanam thought this crazy guy was serious. This guy really tried to kill him. So he got up, and said he had already returned the ham he had won, and asked who's next. Are they going to finish what they started or not? If they don't come, he'll go to them. Maybe. And that night there were many screams and much blood. The Count was watching everything, and said it was extraordinary. After that, the knight's regular monthly meeting took place, even if it wasn't intentional. On one side were the knights who beat Rutger, and the others who beat Joseph, and of course those who remained neutral. And Anatolas was the speaker at this meeting, the captain of the Order of the Knights of Bayezid, saying that the service schedule has been reorganized due to Rutger's absence, and the knights who will soon accompany him on a mission. And the Count realized that the atmosphere had completely changed. Rutger's supporters looked furious, as if they were going to tear everyone here apart. Joseph's supporters were very calm. That's good, because Joseph's knights, they were quite discouraged for a long time. Then the Count gave Jagger a little look, smiled at him, and Jagger even got nervous. After the meeting was concluded, the people from Root were harping on the others, but Jagger wasn't even shaken, just gave a little smile and left. Gregory said they seemed to be seething with rage. He also said he heard that Vlad performed a great exorcism. Even an instructor said he wouldn't deal with him, because it's way beyond the standard. And Jagger thought that kid is really a thorn in his side. Gregory thanked his Jagger very much. You can call him for a task as soon as you need it. And Jagger said he would keep that in mind, but thought Vlad even made him proud. No surprise. Really, he is out of the standard. And later, Joseph presented to his knights a set of armor that his father sent as a gift to Vlad. Personally, Jordan said it looks like too much for a mere vassal, and Jagger said it's quality. Gray orc leather. The gray orc is only found in the north. That's why an armor made with his leather also means northern warrior. Joseph said that his father must have liked the boy very much. He proved himself worthy of an investment. Got his father's approval in just 1 month. Jagger admitted that yes, there is no other vassal that can compare to Vlad. Joseph said that rumors spread very quickly around here. That's why they're going to the next step with the boy. When Jagger read the letter that Joseph wanted to deliver, said it's not a common invitation, and Joseph asked if he can answer him. Tiger said of course. It turns out he's been a little repressed too, cleaning up that boy's dirt lately. Joseph said so it's decided. They're going to Neymar. And when they were already on their way, Joseph in the carriage with Vlad, he explained that Daymar is famous for its lemons, and they should be very grateful to her, because northerners almost never get to taste fruit. But Daymar is also one of the gates towards the region, central. Vlad asked if that's why Jagger is acting here. The young master said yes. A crisis is an opportunity, especially when it's not his. Rienal family is in the middle of a succession dispute, and an invitation from the rightful heir is basically a cry for help. Vlad said, I heard that the world of nobles is pretty difficult to deal with. Joseph said that in the end, it's a fight for Damar's lands. Disputes with those who share their own blood is a very old tradition within the nobles. André Rienal, uncle of the rightful heir Alicia Rienal, claims that she was born from an illegitimate relationship. She is the only daughter of the former Baron Rienal, but her right of inheritance as a woman is limited, which weakened its foundation. In the end, had no choice but to prove your innocence through a duel of honor. Joseph knows that this is a relationship that at the same time is distant and close. Your blood material makes him no more than a cousin of 8th degree, but that without a doubt is enough to cheer kinship. He spoke to Vlad, who will take this opportunity so that the Rienal family be indebted to them. And Vlad thought that Jagger is certainly impressive, a knight that the head of the family would call to defend his blood. And Jagger said that he is a brazen guy, a vassal, any, landing to ride in the carriage comfortably while he's here riding a horse. And Vlad said he has nothing to say in his defense. Jagger said that finally can be proud of what he did. But then, he doesn't know how to ride a horse. Doesn't believe he's teaching an idiot. Vlad said that maybe on a more expensive horse. Jagger said he should be riding an expensive horse, is nobler than him. And in this moment, Vlad noticed something strange in his body. He noticed that his heart has shaken very hard in recent days. Perhaps because of all these changes in his life. Well, in front of you, Joseph doesn't stop talking. Next to him is his Jagger, who complains about him whenever he gets the chance. But he felt an earthquake. It wasn't just his heart trembling. The Jagger immediately ordered everyone to get off their horses, and Vlad instinctively kicked the carriage door, took Joseph out of there, and he thanked Vlad for his sincerity. But there's no need to panic so much. Suddenly that tremor passed, and Vlad said it was his first time witnessing an earthquake. But Joseph said it's not an earthquake. Look only. He noticed that trail of raised earth. All the way, Joseph explained that it is a giant death worm, the remnant of the fallen dragons. And Vlad was even excited. He said, amazing. After a while they finally arrived in Daymar, exclusive city of the Reynolds family. When they arrived at their residence, Joseph said that Vlad could explore the city a little. Alone. Could take that Gerda boy with him too, if he wanted. It is good that he walks freely, while allowed, and see as many things as he can. And Vlad wondered if he could really do that. And Joseph said it was fair, thinking about why he brought him here. A duel of honor is a rare event to see. Not to mention that this time's duel, it's a team event. More than that, there are knights with a collection of origins in this place. Vlad has to watch them and find out what's missing from his technique. Joseph knows that showing this to Vlad is much more memorable than just training. Wants to stimulate him properly. And Tiger told Vlad, don't get beaten up in any alley there, okay? At dusk, there will be another duel. And Vlad said he's not that stupid. Grew up in the slums. Tiger said no. Already lost confidence in him. He doesn't even ride a horse, idiot. Joseph said report to him later. If you notice any suspicious movement, you better come back soon. So Vlad was finally free after a while. Right, so he went to take a look. Walking around the kingdom's mansion, realized it was smaller than the Bayezid mansion, and it also looked very old, despite the city being famous for its lemons. As Joseph said, didn't seem to have much money these days. But at that moment, the spirit of the sword, his master, and said he remembers having coming to this place in the past, remembers that dry tree on that hill. And Vlad said he will have time to pray. After so long, the contract that Vlad has with his master is as follows. His master owes him the sword, Vlad owes him the memories. Now he's going to return the favor. And later, Joseph was introducing himself before the legitimate heiress of Reynolds, saying that of course he answered. A crisis of a legitimate heiress like her. The call of blood is the most important of all, and told Alice that the Count has already allowed it. All that remains is her decision. Alice said she's already decided. It will be as he wishes it. If victory in the duel is hers, of course. But the young master told her not to worry. Bayezid's sword always promises victory. Already at dusk, the warden said they can't be calm in the presence of this woman. Jagger said that her matriarchal temperament is very visible. Seems a bit risky to get involved with her, really. Joseph said he noticed that too. She keeps her hand higher until the last second even, so their plan remains the same. Later Vlad was in that tree on the hill, and in front of her were tombstones, graves. Everything was always about memories. Maybe it's because humans are so obsessed with leaving traces of themselves through life. Because if you look at the traces, left like scars, memories of that day will come to your mind. And seeing that gravestone, he said he wished he could have done something like that for his mother too, and realized that the gravestone wasn't getting the maintenance it should. And Vlad said that the sword master could look as much as he wants. Then he stopped to quote pray, leaving his sword on the ground. And with that the master could walk a little freely through this space. He said some memories came back, really to his head. He remembers this tree, only it was much smaller at the time. He feels like he came here with someone else, and said it seems like that thing that watches them recognizes them, and asked if he can borrow his body. For a moment, Vlad said yes, but not for long. He has to introduce himself to Joseph. When the master took over his body,